10 points in 10 minutes. We'll jump right into it. The first point is, as a self-taught artist, when I'm learning to draw, it works best if I choose a subject and I stick with it. The endless possibilities with all aspects of artwork are a continuous challenge to the self-taught artist, because everything is possible. Do I want to draw portraits? Do I want to draw horses? Do I want to draw streetscapes? Do I want to draw manga? Chances are I want to draw several things, but I can't learn everything all at once. So I need to choose one area so I can focus my attention and my learning on that. And as well as staying with the subject, I need to stay with the materials that I use. So choose the medium that you want to learn to excel in using. We wouldn't switch from learning the piano one week to having violin lessons the next week, maybe learn the flute the week after that and then go back to piano. That would be obviously ridiculous. It is the same with drawing. So we need to focus down on what we draw and what we use to draw it. The second point is we mustn't try and start at the end. We start learning to draw inspired by things, inspired by the creative urges inside us, the dreams, the hopes of the drawings that we imagine that we want to bring out, how much we love the subject matter we want to draw, artworks we've seen others do. But we all start at the beginning of this journey, not at the end point. And we need to realize that not just will we not start with the dreams of the drawings we're going to do in our heads, or we won't start to draw comparably with the artists who inspire us, but that if we try, we'll probably just get discouraged and think, oh, I've got no ability, no talent, I'm wasting my time. I might really like the piano in a symphony performance, but if I start to learn piano, it will be with pieces that are titled things like Jumping Frogs, not a Beethoven concerto. As a self-taught artist, I choose what I do, so I need to be realistic in choosing simpler subjects. Start with drawing cottages, not the front of the Musée du Louvre. Drawing faces that are simple, not complex. The third point is we need to draw regularly. And being practical, for most of us, the only way this is going to happen is if we have a set time for drawing. Now, we have to decide whether it's 1 hour or 2 hours, but time does slip by so quickly. And suddenly it's weeks since we last drew. And I've lost touch with the memories in my mind and in my hands and my fingers of the last time I spent drawing. And instead of being able to overlap with that in my thinking and my drawing, I actually have to try hard to remember even what I was doing before I can start again. But it does need to be time enough to accomplish something with the medium and the subject you're wanting to learn in. One of the great advantages in having a set time is that if for some important reason you really can't make it, you know you have to make it up, because the desire to learn to draw and to improve in my drawing is worth it. And we can do 5 or 10 or 15-minute sessions, and they can be very useful, but they never replace the lesson. The fourth point is we shouldn't try to use too many resources from too many sources. Being a self-taught artist, we have to choose what material we use. And there is so much out there, so much available in books, online, and it can be very difficult to know what to do or to make choices between it. If we remember point 1, we need to focus. We need to give ourselves less things to think about, to juggle, to have to do. And it's the same with resources. Ideally, find a YouTube channel or a couple of channels, or find a book where the way the teacher thinks and explains and demos feels like it's a good match for where I want to end up. And then sit with them as we work. So we're not jumping back and forth with different ways of thinking and speaking and different techniques all the time. I won't have to get my head around a whole new language and way of thinking with every video. So find materials that are a good match and stay. The fifth point, don't replace actually drawing with watching drawing videos or anything else for that matter. This may seem an odd point because clearly we're wanting to learn to draw. But creativity can have a complex relationship with our identity and our background. Planning to draw can be a real love-hate relationship for us, with all sorts of things in our mind to overcome. And one of the ways we can postpone actually hitting these challenges head on is to divert our time into watching how to draw videos. where we feel like we've made some progress in drawing simply by watching the videos, and this is just not true. The videos, hopefully, position us in some way to be able to draw, and to be able to draw more effectively, to be moving in the direction with our drawing that we want to get to. But the only way this will happen is actually if I draw. In the same way, organizing and reorganizing our drawing materials doesn't count. Buying lots and lots of drawing materials and stacking them up will not advance our drawing development one scrap. My sixth point is, don't get focused on videos about hacks, tips, shortcuts. Do I want to get to where I want to go more quickly? Yes, of course, this is always a tempting thought, but there are no shortcuts to practice, regular drawing, thoughtful drawing, deliberate drawing. And it's not to say these things can't be helpful. They're usually just quick technique ideas, advice of common mistakes to avoid. They don't speed up our drawing development, although they may teach us things that we really need to learn anyway, and that we would learn if we continued in that area. But they're not a magic extra, although again they can prevent us from perhaps going in an unhelpful direction or a bad habit. But it's probably a waste of time chasing these because there are no shortcuts. Find good material that simply includes all these things as part of its teaching, and better yet, in the context of a whole lesson, not as an isolated tip. That way, we learn to use them in context, which is always a more helpful way to know the relevance of what we're learning and not just to have it in isolation. And the seventh point is we need to learn how to critique our own artworks. For a self-taught artist, we're our own teacher. We need to mark and comment on our work. And we need to be honest and, if necessary, ruthless, because we will not go past any mistakes that we accept. When we identify errors or even just weak areas, then we give ourselves a focus for future lessons, for future time spent drawing, things that we can put extra effort into to improve. But because as we do our drawing, we can get sort of used to the mistakes that we've made, it's very helpful to ask a friend, does anything look strange in this drawing or even wrong? What do you think I should concentrate on? And even if they don't draw themselves or are able to explain what's wrong with the drawing, even being able to show us something that just doesn't look right is a great help for us in looking more closely at what we've done. Of course, we don't do this to be down on ourselves, but we do it to give us a focus for improvement. The eighth point is we shouldn't copy the drawings of other artists, because this will derail our learning and discourage us, because it's easier to draw a copy of a drawing than it is to draw an original one ourselves. And because of this, it will give us a better result more easily, which gives us a false view of our ability and can lead to discouragement when I then can't draw as well as I think I can draw. Because copying another drawing doesn't teach me the skills I need to do my own original drawing. Copying the work of others is only useful if I want to learn how to copy. And these follow along how to draw videos, draw this line, now add this line, are exactly this. They do not teach us how to draw ourselves, but only how to copy someone else. Because they don't teach us how to choose what lines we need to put, where we need to put them. And that's the hard part, that's the creative part. And the ninth point is, if we're a self-taught artist, well, we're not in a class, we're student and teacher, which can make it a very solitary journey. And this may suit some people, but for most people it can be helpful to connect with other people on a similar journey. So make the effort to work out how perhaps you could connect with other people who are learning to draw or interested in learning to draw. There could be a Facebook group in your area or some other social media way you can find out about people around you who might be interested in meeting once a month, once every few months even, to share learning experiences, look at each other's drawings, critique each other's drawings, and generally give encouragement to each other to push on. Recommend teaching videos or books or other resources that have been helpful. And if I'm having a tough time and losing enthusiasm, then meeting other artists may help to remind me why I started doing this in the first place and encourage me to push on. It may be easier to connect with other artists doing something similar than you think. So don't forget to have a look and give it a go if you can. And the 10th point is we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that learning to draw is the same as learning to do anything else. It requires hard work, effort, consistency, and sometimes pushing on in the face of discouragement. I think because we talk about art as coming from a place of natural talent, that we can think that somehow if I'm able to do it, it's going to be an easy thing to do. There is no shortcut. There is no easy way. It's no different from learning any skill. And I do think learning a musical instrument is a good comparison, because we don't think that there are tips or hacks that will in some huge way make it easy to learn an instrument. No, we have to learn the skills, and we have to practice, and we have to look at what we're doing and work out ways we can improve it and get feedback from other people. And it's the same with drawing. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. If you're a self-taught artist, I hope this has helped give some direction to principles or ways of structuring your time so that you can get the most benefit out of what you put in to learning to draw. But whatever you're drawing, however you're drawing it, have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.